Department that we're the first in the nation to offer public employees the right to collectively bargain in 1959. And when I look at that great seat of democracy, in some ways I've never felt more proud to be a citizen of this state, to come from a community like Racine, and be a graduate of this university, and watch democracy in action, and watch it unfold the way it has in the last 2 months. But I've also been more concerned about our rights than ever before. Never can I think of a time in the state's history have we had such a reactionary governor who would, in his first month in office, go after decades of workers' rights. And in the process of taking after those workers' rights, out of sheer desperation, denying ordinary citizens access to their democracy. I mean, this is a governor, when he decides he's going to go after 50 years of workers' rights, he goes too far.
Yeah.
Yes. This is a governor who would rather consider calling out the National Guard instead of negotiating with the unions who serve the public in this state. This is a governor who would defy a court order, not once, but twice in a week, to open the Capitol back up.
Double sin.
This is a governor who, when he's told you can't implement the bill by telling the LRB, who has no authority to make a bill a law, just go ahead and do it. We'll just pretend that we're going to change the rules as we go along. And then when there's a court order that says there's a stay of it, we're like, well, we'll just ignore that. And we'll make up the rules as we go. Yeah, I mean, if it weren't, I mean, somebody actually said to me earlier, some of these headlines, I thought they were headlines from The Onion. They're so absurd.
Yeah, really.
Are these real? And so there is so much at stake in our democracy right now. We need to get our democracy back. We need to get our capital back. Wisconsin has long had this proud tradition of open government and transparency. We've led the nation in that. So to have that Capitol building at the other end of State Street, which is not only the seat of our government, but the symbol of our government, denied access to ordinary citizens day after day. And I had a group of fourth graders come up to my district this week, who come up every year. And it's a rite of passage in fourth grade in this state. You take state history, you come to the state capitol and you see the building. And they had to go through metal detectors just to get in the building. They were patting down 10-year-olds. And then, on top of everything else, they couldn't eat where they usually eat in the cafeteria in the basement of the Capitol because that was the command center for law enforcement. So they were told, sorry, you can't get to the second floor where the hearing rooms are, you can't get to the basement, so you'll have to eat your lunch on the floor. Now, this is our state capitol building. And what experience does that leave with those 10-year-olds who are going to think about what democracy means and what their government means for the rest of their lives? Scott Walker, we deserve better. It's time to give people their democracy back. And as proud as I am of all the action that we've had up at that building, and as proud as I am of all the recall efforts happening in different corners of the state, the reality is Scott Walker and his allies have been betting on the fact that there's not really outrage in Wisconsin about this.
They're wrong.
That it's just a bunch of people in Madison and then miraculously from out of the state, but not people from anywhere else in the state who care about this. So we've talked about this over and over tonight, but if we don't take back our democracy on April 5th, he might be right. So there is, if you're wondering what's at stake on April 5th, it's not just an independent judiciary that's at stake. It's not just overturning a justice who refers to the female members of the court with an expletive that I'm not going to mention here. It's about the independence of our judiciary branch, but it's also about sending a strong message to Scott Walker and his Republican extreme allies in the legislature that people are paying attention. And we're going to start holding you accountable on April 5th. We're going to win back some assembly seats in May. We're going to make some recalls into the summer. And then come early next year, we're
Thank you so much for coming out today, everybody. It was an honor to have these representatives.